Okay, now you can laugh at me. No, I'm being funny. So, anger in general.
So, like, I kind of see anger as an emotion that helps you, like, get what you want.
Yeah. Anger can be forcefulness. I don't know about the spelling of that. Help you get what you want.
Is forcefulness a word?
It may not be. It may not be a word. So, is that the sort of anger that is a problem?
Depends how you use
Depends how you use
it.
it.
Like, if you're physically, like, hurting people.
So, does this sound like rage? No. No. So, anger is maybe the broader category. Rage is maybe something else. Now, you noticed, I hope, in there that there is some dispute even among feminists over how appropriate it is to be angry. And we have all heard, I'm sure, lots of turn the other cheek type of advice. So the thing is, if you are the good person, as you're led to believe, who doesn't get angry, because that's what good people we think do, they don't get angry, then are you going to get what you want? Maybe not. Now, what happens when one side has the right to be angry and the other side does not have the right to be angry? Yeah. Yeah. The enemy side, the them, gets what they want if they can be angry and we cannot. So what you will notice is that in American politics recently, you have had, and by recently I will even just the last year, you have many sort of middle-aged, middle-class white Americans who are angry about Mexican immigrants, who are angry about protesters and demonstrators and Black Lives Matter, and who show up to polling stations armed with automatic rifles. And they will go to rallies and chant things about how angry they are. But the Black Lives Matter people, who are equally angry and probably for much better reason, are not being given the right to be angry. So what those same middle-class white people will say is, oh, why can't they respect property? Why can't they demonstrate peacefully and that sort of thing? But those same middle-class white people didn't like when Colin Kaepernick demonstrated peacefully by taking a knee during the American national anthem on football games. So peaceful demonstration is what we want, but then when there actually is peaceful demonstration, it's like, well, that's disrespectful. And so really what they're trying to do is say, we have the right to be angry, no one else has the right to be angry. And this is the patriarchy's oldest trick in the book, right? That men are supposed to be angry and women are not. And maybe that's the answer that was evading Yuval Noah Harari in the excerpt that we read from Sapiens last week about why the patriarchy has persisted and been so prevalent across so many different societies. Maybe it is just the anger that has become a particularly male trait. Now, how comfortable are you individually or as a group with this idea that women need to express their anger more? Are you in agreement with her? Some scholars, they hinted at they are not in agreement with her, that anger is never constructive and all that sort of thing. So a bunch of you nodded your heads. Kaylee, you didn't. What do you think? You seem like a very angry person.
I don't know, I think that like when you say what you want to say, people will like either respect you or not. So it could either be good or bad for you.
When you say what you want to say, people will either respect you or not. Yeah? I will agree with that. But on what basis are they choosing to respect you? Now, the question then is, are they respecting you because of what you look like or where you come from or who you are? Or are they respecting you on the basis of the actual content of what you said? Or are they respecting you on the basis of the way in which you said it? Right? And all of those are very different things. Now, gaining respect is an end in itself and is worthwhile, but I would rather not have respect based on where I come from or what I look like. I should probably cut my hair one of these days if I want more respect, right? I would rather not have respect of people that are listening to me on the basis of that, but I'll take what I can get, and not everyone can have that. I don't generally go about trying to gain respect by being more forceful, except in the case of whiny 5-year-olds, in which case, presenting myself more calmly and rationally does not prevent or forestall the whining in any way. So the audience is important, I suppose. But yeah, really good point. Really good point. So we think that women should not be more angry, but how do we want to phrase this? What's stand up for their anger? Yeah, maybe.
Like, I'd say like anger can be like a motivator, so it can be like a good motivator or like a bad motivator. So I feel like women should use it in a good way or something like that.
Women should use their anger. How about if I say constructively? Yeah. Now, the problem that we're going to run into here is that nobody likes angry women. And when I say nobody, I mean not enough people. The people who elected Donald Trump in the first place. Now, the thing is, as with Black Lives Matter protesters or women or anybody else in different situations, sometimes you are right to be mad. Sometimes you should be angry. Right? There are things that deserve our anger. And what men have done, what the patriarchy has done historically, is to teach all of you not to show your anger, not to speak from anger, and to, I think that this probably results in a lot of personal sort of mental health crises where people just have to swallow their anger and can't let it out and can't affect any change advocating for themselves or the causes that they care about because it's inappropriate to be angry. And so I think what's being suggested is that we need a culture change. Right? We need to, as an entire culture, we need to start getting more comfortable with more people having righteous anger, having righteous indignation, which is a favorite term of mine. Let's say I don't want to be angry because that Mexican stole my job. Right? I want to have righteous indignation at, anybody know what word I'm going to finish that sentence with? Take a guess. What is it okay to be angry about in a broad sense? Is there a word that I might use to say this is where anger is justified? Sorry? Unfairness is close to what I was going to say. I think that's the same meaning, but that's not the exact word I was going to say. I was going to say injustice. It's a little bit more academic sounding than unfairness, which is, that's what I do. So if we say righteous indignation, and I like the word indignation because it means anger, but it doesn't say it, so it doesn't have as much of a negative connotation, at injustice, then it becomes harder to argue with. So, all of this is set up for the ending of A Doll's House. We have to skip back and forth through the centuries a little bit to get at what we need. So, we are going to pause this conversation and we're going to go back to feminist literary theory and criticism. And then I will let you guys finish your readings. But I have to wipe off the board now. I should have just written over there so that I wasn't thinking of that. So we're going to I've used some of these lectures before, but just as kind of a break from listening to me talk all the time, and also because the more that I talk with a mask on, the more that it just gets like awkwardly yucky. So we're going to listen to Professor Fry from Yale University talking about the history of the feminist criticism and feminist literary theory. And this guy is renowned, I guess you could say. He is a name that people will know. This is a famously smart guy, and you'll see how smart he is. He's not as inscrutable as Professor Eagleton. He's a little bit easier to understand, but he's still going to make some references that are going to go over your heads, and just don't worry about that. His points are going to be the same. But he is a very effective speaker, and is one of the experts in this. So.